Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
Athena, you got to sleep on my nap until noon today. Do you still need more attention? Is that it?
You're asking a cat if they need more attention.
Get to sleep on your lap till noon. And your point is, I'm sure the cat. Hello, everybody.
She had to sleep till noon, otherwise she won't have the energy for her mid-afternoon nap.
I mean, the only reason it wasn't longer is because I had to get up to use the restroom.
Yep.
Hi. Okay, you clearly want attention.
Okay, so in the side chat, I'm seeing on the sofa Orla and Stop the Stupidity.
Athena, I want you to know most people don't want to see your butt.
And she's like, well, they have no taste.
That does not compute.
So today is Postal Worker Appreciation Day.
Happy Canada Day for those of you who are Canadians.
Yeah, I learned over the last couple of years that that's not really something Canadians want to celebrate.
Canada Day?
Yeah. I guess there's something, it's kind of like how we are with Columbus Day, that there's some conflicting things about the indigenous people there and such.
Listen, I'm happy to have a day off from work regardless for the reason, so.
Yeah, most people are.
Call it what you want. It's just a day off work. It could be National Slackers Day.
That sounds like a good day.
Well, that's why the Chicago Meat Cutters Union gets St. Urho's Day off.
And of course, Molly wants to play right now.
Saint what?
St. Urho's Day.
Catholic. One of the many Catholic saints I've never heard of.
Oh. St. Urho was the Finnish saint who was credited with driving all the grasshoppers out of Finland.
Were there any grasshoppers in Finland?
Yeah, I wonder about that because it seemed to be kind of a cold climate for them. But I suppose it's possible that they could have gotten swarms of grasshoppers or locusts at some point.
Or is this a metaphor like St. Patrick driving the snakes out of Ireland?
Yeah, I don't know for sure.
Iffy.
But basically, the Chicago Meat Cutters Union bargained for that one off because March was the only month that they didn't have a 3-day weekend.
Well, I mean, I can't complain about the days I have off right now, so.
Let's see here. According to the AI, it says that Finland has never had locust swarms, but they do occasionally get wind-blown stragglers.
Well, and here we have an actual postal worker with us now.
All right, that works.
Well, first of all, can you hear me okay? Because I've got a new mic that I don't think is very good.
Yes,
what was that?
Fine.
Great, okay. I should point out I'm a former postal worker.
Okay,
now. I haven't been a postal worker for about 2.5 years, but I was a postal worker for around about 24 years.
I knew you actually weren't anymore. I didn't realize it was that long ago that you had left.
Yeah. I'm happier to be out of the Royal Mail, to be honest, but it's a bit of a long story about my exit from that company, but which I won't bore you with, but I'm kind of happy I'm a lot happier in my work life, I'll just say that.
Yeah. Well, but, it's National Postal Workers Day for the U.S. It's not a worldwide thing anymore.
I gather that, but I have got a number of acquaintances that are postal workers or formal postal workers in the United States, and there's a lot of similar issues I think we've faced over the years. So,
well, and I decided to go with this one because the Trump administration keeps pushing to block the mail-in ballots.
Oh, for goodness sake.
They failed on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Donald Trump's going to keep getting more dangerous the more losses he gets handed.
Oh yeah.
Well, and the more things the Supreme Court gives him, like they have just given him new powers that were explicitly kept from the president in the Constitution.
Yep.
That basically he now has the power to fire any federal workers.
Yeah, the rulings they made there is quite a mixed bag.
What was it that he got handed the defeat on though yesterday, or
Birthright
or at least-
citizenship.
Yeah, so I gathered that because someone who's, we say, is a, I won't mention the guy's name, but
Does he happen to share the name with a famous ballerina?
Possibly. Somebody put something up online about said this is the three liberal women on the Supreme Court, not realizing the makeup of the Supreme Court, from what I understand it, is 6 conservatives to 3 Democratic. So meaning at least 2 people from his own side of the fence went against him.
Well,
the mail-in ballots thing is also something he lost on.
Yeah.
If this is who I think it is, I don't think it's really his side of the fence. I think he's just trying to desperately claw back to where he was at his height.
Well,
yeah. Porpoise, I won't. Like I said, we're not mentioning the man's name, but you are correct. I'll just say that much.
I do kind of wonder, if they did the birthright citizenship in the same day to get people to talk about that, so that people weren't really paying attention to the extended executive powers they gave him.
Oh, there was a bunch of things they did that day.
Yeah.
Honestly, we need to impeach like 4 members of the Supreme Court just for corruption, like Thomas Roberts.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to set a rule. It's like you cannot take corporate donations to ruling cases.
There already was a rule about that. There just wasn't a law about it. I mean, they can be investigated by the House Ethics Committee.
I also think like there should be a law that says if they get disbarred in their state where they came from, they can no longer be a judge.
I would think if they get disbarred anywhere, it should disqualify them from being a federal judge.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? If you've been disbarred, that you probably shouldn't be on. I don't know, the Supreme Court of the United States, but.
Well, I mean, if they get disbarred while they're serving as a justice, their term is done.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we have a problem with an aging government. And while I don't want to stop someone from serving just because of their age, we do need to implement some kind of fitness test for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all know Donald Trump isn't going to pass that, but he's not the only one. I mean, there was Dianne Feinstein, who had Alzheimer's while she was in Congress. There's the D.C. representative in the Senate who got scammed.
The evil turtle man who basically had a stroke. Oh, cut the podium.
Well, I don't know if it was a stroke, but...
Well, even Ronald Reagan, in like his final year, they really were questioning his cognitive ability and thinking his wife was kind of coaching him along.
Well, as we found out, he did have Alzheimer's.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's... I mean, you go back, I mean... I'm trying to think, it was the president that allegedly... I'm trying to remember which president it was that allegedly his wife was kind of running the show.
Not allegedly, it was Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it. It was Wilson. Yeah.
Yep.
We also need people who aren't going to hide these facts either, like they're doing with Trump, the way they did with Biden.
Well, he had a stroke and just couldn't do his duties anymore his final year in office. So his wife ran things.
Yeah, he's sort of one of those. I think he's sort of one of those presidents. There's definitely some very mixed opinions on his hit on Woodrow Wilson, from what I can tell. So,
yeah, I would think we would have security checks, like you have to pass a top secret clearance check to be president, but nope, because Donald Trump would not have passed it.
Yeah. Well, and Donald Trump has gone on to appoint people to high-level government positions who also would not have passed the security checks that are required for the people that they're supervising.
But if there's one encouraging thing about all of this, it's that in many states, people are saying hell no to the corporate establishment candidates.
No, if this is anything to go by, because the first time I ever heard the term President Trump was as a throwaway line joke in The Simpsons.
Yep.
So theoretically, does this mean Lisa Simpson will be the next president of the United States?
No, Gloria Steinem has to be the first female president of the United States for that timeline to be correct.
Oh, yes, actually, yes. I remember. Yeah, I do remember the full joke now. Yes,
because Lisa Simpson is the first straight female president.
Yeah,
and then she says, "Thank you, Gloria Steinem."
Yeah, Orla's saying that.
The scary thing about that is it means that Donald Jr. might be president. That's the scary thing about that.
I don't. Donald Trump Jr. has the charisma of my windowsill.
Yep.
And honestly, I think a lot of the Trump family is going to be in a lot of legal troubles after this is over.
Yeah.
We can hope.
Well, there certainly can be criminal charges, I think, pretty much against all of them at this point.
Athena. Kitty. Were there no tasty-looking birds or squirrels in the window? Apparently not, because you're back here.
Excuse me.
Are you looking for things to knock off the desk? Or are you looking for a place to crawl up?
As it is, as you said, it's National Postal Workers Day, and you're mentioning kitties. Do you want to perhaps share an opinion that most postal workers would agree with about why cats are better than dogs?
No.
Yeah.
Because cats are less likely to bite.
Cats and dogs have their own drawbacks and advantages. It's just cats are more apartment-sized.
Yeah.
That depends on the cat or the dog.
Cats in general are more apartment-friendly.
Yeah. And when cats, you don't have to take them outside every day, regardless of the weather.
Yeah, Athena's been outside and does not care for it. And poor Athena.
But obviously, as a long-time postal worker, you can imagine there's a relationship with dogs has been an interesting one over the years. Been a very much love-hate relationship.
Yeah. Well, where I lived in St. Paul, one of the mail carriers kept a bag of dog treats in his van.
Yeah.
So Ginger Snap absolutely loved him.
I would never do. I never actually did that. Because I mean, now if I could make friends with a dog, I would do. Like, you know, but it would normally be like, hey, I'll give him strokes or whatever, if possible. But what I found could be the issue with dog treats was if I had them, great, but if somebody was covering me and they didn't have the dog treats, they might be in for a rough time from the dog.
And there was apparently a train coming through New Porpoise's apartment.
No, that's a lawnmower. Outside.
Well,
doing their work on one of the hottest days of the year.
I am still working on an invention. I'm sure it will make me rich if I can get it down. I'm trying to breed emo grass so it cuts itself.
Yeah.
There is actually grass that will break off and stay short on its own.
Yeah, I read about that. Some grass that won't grow more than 3 inches long.
Athena.
And there are other coverings you can use besides grass. I don't even know why we picked the one thing that we have to cut constantly.
Yeah. Personally, I'd be happy with the lawn of clover. That never grows tall enough to be an issue.
Well, grass is not native to the United States, so I don't know why. We thought the need to bring it over.
Grass is not native to the U.S.?
No.
Most grasses are not.
No, I thought that at least some species were.
Well, the grass we use in our lawn is not.
Yeah. Well, I think any of the grass seed you buy, is not natural. It's been tampered with by humans in one way or another.
Not all of it.
Athena.
Most people have forgotten the reason why we have lawns in the first place.
I am pretty sure that if you want to be part of the show, you need to be somewhere where the camera can see you.
Yeah.
You have a very lovely tail, though.
Lawns were originally just to create a fire break between buildings, or between your house and the forest, so that if there was a fire, it wouldn't just, jump from one to another.
Well, fires were and still are a major concern, even though I don't think we've had anything like the Great Chicago Fire or the fire that took place in my hometown that burned down most of the town in the 19th century. Oh, you're worried about the lawnmower. That's interesting, Athena. But the lawnmower cannot get you in here.
Well, big scary monster.
Well, it's also blocking her view of things she might like to hunt.
How dare it?
Oy.
Yeah,
I think the last time our country had a great fire, excluding World War II, I would say, there was probably in London in the 17th century. So,
yeah.
Well, one nice thing about having in clover for your lawn is that you can eat it.
Wasn't there a time in London that the Thames River caught on fire?
I don't know that the Thames itself caught on fire, but it was obviously, I don't know how many familiar with the Great Fire of London, 1666.
Isn't that an Ohio river that caught on fire for many years?
No, I distinctly, remember reading about one in England. But
I don't know. I don't know that the river itself caught on fire, but it certainly, the Great Fire, what they call the Great Fire of London, it certainly gutted a good section of the city. It I believe started in a bakery, and lasted quite a few days.
Yeah. Now, there was one where the river started on fire because of all the industrial effluence that was being dumped into it. So basically, it was like there was layered oil floating on top of the water, and that's what was burning.
Yeah.
All right. Apparently, it caught fire on July 26, 1970, and there's an earlier date I found where it did too.
Yep.
But I also recall there's an Ohio river that caught fire on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, and isn't it in Pennsylvania where there's that coal mine that has been burning for like 100 years now?
No. That's not 100. It's not been 100 years yet.
Okay, not quite that long.
It's been 60 years.
Okay.
And plus, that's a tale of human stupidity.
Yep.
As
But yet-
these things normally are.
The Cuyahoga River caught fire at least a dozen times in Ohio. The river fires tend to get put out. Mine fires, once they get into coal, seem more difficult to put out.
Yeah.
And the Centralia mine fire just happens to be on one of the world's largest veins of anthracite coal.
Yeah, and Canada has already been having some problems with wildfires this year.
Well, I mean, I've been to Centralia a couple times. There's nothing there, so. As you might expect from a town that was ordered to close down by the government, bought out, and there's maybe like a few houses left that will be torn down as soon as the people living in them die. Athena.
I can't believe there are some people who would still want to be living there.
It's their home.
Yeah.
I remember for the longest time, not far from where I grew up, there was like a traffic circle going around a house in the middle of a highway because the person would not sell.
Yep.
And when the person died, the house got demolished and the highway got built properly.
Yeah, I was watching a thing on instances of that in several places where there were things that somebody refused to sell the piece of land, so they had to do funny things with the highways and such.
What are you doing, Athena?
Cat stuff.
Oh, you're giving me slow things. Okay. Well, I want everyone to know that apparently this episode has a large picture of Athena across it from my viewpoint.
Ah. Well, cat pictures are good.
And it's amazing how much Geoff looks like Athena's head.
Oh, excuse me.
And for a while, Purple had cat ears.
Well, you know what, your background, because of the lightning thing behind you, it kind of looks like you have cat ears when your head's in the right position.
Well, sometimes I feel like I'm letting trans women down by not having cat ear headphones.
Yeah, I don't have any either.
But honestly, I always thought that was a silly thing to do. Oh, we lost Geoff.
Yeah. I also don't have any high tops.
You know, I'm from high tops. I've been meaning to pick up some high tops just because they're good for ankle stability, but I also need to pick up new sandals and I did. So maybe someone can help me understand how this makes sense. I have a friend who lives in Indianapolis who got annoyed with her nail technician and decided the most sensible thing was to take an Uber 76 miles to where I live now and get her nails done here. Why not just find a different nail salon?
Yeah, 76 miles in an Uber. I wonder how much that costs.
Better be a bloody good nail salon to go that far.
Well, I was trying to say, it's like, if you're going to do this, first off, get an Uber. Don't get an Uber. Use the Greyhound the next day. Get a round-trip ticket. It'll probably be cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, it's Indianapolis. It's a big city. There have to be more than one nail salon. More than one nail salon. It's like, even the city of like 60,000 has like dozens of nail salons.
Well, if you are recommending getting a Greyhound, if they're anything like they are in the UK, that a day trip might not be a long enough time.
It would still be cheaper than riding an Uber.
Oh yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh yeah, I want to stay over." So I had a house guest one night. It's like, because I don't know. The problem is, for me, is like she doesn't think these things through. It's like, and then let's go see Supergirl. She didn't get. It's like, I've already seen Supergirl. I don't want to watch it again right now.
I haven't watched this. I haven't watched the new one that's come out, but
I think the main problem is Lobo needs more screen time.
I can remember when I was young. I think I saw the 1984 one, which was not a good movie, but although Peter Cook did do his best to make it palatable.
Well, the first two Supermen were good.
Yeah.
Were there 3 or 4?
There were 4. I've actually met someone who was in the first couple of Superman movies. Actress called Sarah Douglas, who played one of the Kryptonian villains in like Superman 2. She quite often played villains, but she's actually like really one of the nicest people you could meet in real life.
Is she, or is that just her cover so you don't suspect her of anything?
Quite possibly, but she's actually one of those some like people, to meet in real life.
I mean, you all think I'm a nice person, but you don't know about me in real life.
Well, I know you're not a dinosaur.
Well, technically, no. We've evolved beyond that. I mean, we have
You could be a bird.
Evolved.
Birds are dinosaurs.
Yeah, so theoretically, you could be a bird.
No, we went off in a different direction. Different planet, bit of a different ecosystem.
But then again, most people realize I'm not actually a porpoise either.
You're not?
Does this look like an aquatic environment?
In my head canon, you are porpoise, and you always.
Notice nothing was said about not being sinister, though.
Well, I am left-handed.
That is the rule for sinister, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to need to get a pillow.
Oh, so yeah. Still a mystery how my headset wandered off, and it's like I've been organizing. I've moved everything in this apartment several times at this point. I just can't understand how it could be hiding somewhere.
sorry, my neck's going to be sore if it's not supported properly.
Yeah.
I get that.
Ah, yes, Centralia, Pennsylvania. I had a friend who came to visit me one time in town. Oh, okay, it's Purple's background noise that was making that. Is anyone else here?
Yeah, we're here.
All right,
I'm
so
here.
yeah, just wanted to make sure, just in case I lost.
No, I was just muting my mic because I was coughing.
And everyone's there. It's like I want to go to Centralia. It's like I'm like, why? There's nothing there.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like a great tourist site. It's just notorious.
I mean, the graveyard's still there, a couple houses, and there's a monastery far away on the hill that isn't known to be anywhere where the mines were. Athena, I really hope your fur grows back soon on your paws. Because, well, you did need a dental cleaning. The fact that they shaved your legs like that just looks weird. Poor kitty.
Why did they shave her legs for a dental cleaning?
Because they need to sedate the cat.
Oh.
Apparently dogs, too.
Shouldn't that only need to, like, shave one leg?
I would think so. But knowing Athena, she was probably attacking. She's probably trying to play with the shaving device. Saying, oh, this is a great toy.
I did manage to get both of my kitties to the groomer to have their nails trimmed.
Athena, this isn't really something where you can sit on me. That's more what the recliner is for. And maybe if I got rid of this background, people could actually see you, Athena.
Humanist furniture.
The humanist furniture, entertainment, companion, and food source.
Yep.
Athena, that looked like I finally figured it out, and you're worried about that is not going anywhere.
Not to mention janitor. Cats will never kill us all off because they don't want to clean their own litter box.
Yeah. Well, I think they get a very good deal, really. Cats, you said they get fed, entertained, get their litter box cleaned, all the things, and all they've got to do is just provide a little bit of stress relief every so often.
Yeah, occasionally pest control.
Yeah.
You are evolutionary designed to be the perfect rodent killing machine, Athena.
Yep. Well, that's why they're with us. Because we started piling up huge stocks of grain, which of course brought in mice and rodents. And so the cats hung around just because it was an easy place to hunt.
And then people started feeding the cats.
Yep.
To the point where I've actually seen a cat run away from a mouse. It's just, so I'm like sort of saying you're not doing the cat thing right here.
I don't know.
It's these rats. That's his pets, and one of them kept getting out of the container.
I can somewhat understand a cat backing down from a rat at times. I can somewhat understand that, but
oh yeah, rats can get a lot. Rats are bigger and
but
the rat
from a mouse, they really shouldn't.
Well, the rat took his food and was running back and forth across the area, hiding his food under one of the chairs. And he ran right over the cat's paws, and the cat just jumped up and looked at it like, "What the hell?"
But then again, I suppose you shouldn't be too hard on a cat backing down from a mouse or a rat, because let's be honest, there are humans that will do that.
We're talking about a pet rat, one of those, not one of those giant sewer rat types things.
I don't know if Athena would know what to do with a mouse. I don't think she's ever seen one. She will hunt insects, but I don't think she knows what to do with a mouse.
The dog we had in high school used to chase squirrels up and down the alley all the time. And one day he actually caught one. And he had it pinned to the ground, and he's just looking up at me like, what am I supposed to do with it now? He just never expected to actually catch one. So he just let it go and it ran up the telephone pole.
Your insect removal services are appreciated. As are your purring services.
The purring services are important. They're very calming.
Like I said, it's part of the stress relief duty. You know, it's
Yep.
The purring does help have that effect.
Well, cats purr at usually in a range of 20 to 40 hertz. And apparently they have discovered that the vibrations in that range can actually help human bones regenerate after a break.
Athena, is my lap not sufficiently comfy for the kitty? Is that the problem? Because you have been on my desk this entire stream, demanding my attention, which you are getting.
I have to work with Sage. She's still stressed and very timid. So I think she seems to think she's going to get yelled at if she's even on the furniture. So far I haven't been able to get her to accept that she can be on the furniture, let alone on me.
I think Molly went through that, not being sure if she could be on the couch.
Yep.
Athena was never not allowed on the furniture. Because I thought it would be kind of useless to try to forbid a cat from doing that anyway.
Yeah.
Athena, you can't really forbid cats from doing things. I mean, you don't really crawl up on the counter, which I'm grateful for, at least not all that often.
The best you can do is teach a cat not to do something when you're staring directly at them. And even that doesn't always work.
And I know you've tried to train me in certain things. With varying degrees of success. And I know you know 5:30 a.m. is treat o'clock. With you deciding when 5:30 a.m. is. Because apparently in your mind it's any time I get up from the bed.
Well, she could develop the rooster mentality and just decide that sunrise is always treat time.
I'm surprised you're not on the chair napping, Athena. That's what you usually do this time of day. All right,
paying attention to somebody else.
But I'm also paying attention to her. She's getting pets.
Yeah. But when she's napping, you're just supposed to sit there waiting for her to wake up. You're not supposed to do anything else. You need to be available for her.
Or are you mad because I went out to take guitar lessons yesterday? Athena, you do chew me out if I'm gone too long. It's okay, Athena. But this is about National Postal Workers Day. It's not about the sinister porpoise's cat digging her claws into my thighs.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the only, at least, person who's been a postal worker here doesn't really have anything interesting to say on postal workers. So,
well, did you know the U.S. Post Office is technically a branch of the military?
I have heard that is effectively the case in the US. Yeah.
Yeah, because it developed out of the Pony Express riders.
Yeah.
And the Pony Express riders were a branch of the cavalry.
I think
Yeah.
wait, I'm not sure that's true. I think the Postal Service predates the Pony Express.
I mean, there would have been. I mean, obviously, technically, at one time, the Royal Mail would have been the U.S. Postal Service, because when you guys were, before you guys committed treason in 1776 and kicked us out, it would have
Hey,
been
it's only
like,
treason if you lose.
yeah. Well, I'll get it. I'll get it in now in case I don't see you beforehand. A happy Treason Day for the weekend. So,
I mean, I did think the BBC is celebrating the American Independence Day one year was a little weird.
yeah, it's that's all right though. We managed to get redcoats on the White House lawn this year, so we'll call that a win. But no, I mean, so technically that then though, because it would have been, it would have been technically quote unquote the King's Mail, or it was, or we were for years were referring to as the Queen's Mail, up until 2013 when they actually, the UK government had this brilliant idea of privatising the postal service, which has been an unmitigated disaster.
Which is why Trump's pushing to do it here.
Yeah. It was can I just say, if our experience is anything to go by, you guys have got to fight that, because it has been a absolute disaster in the UK.
Well, no one wants the U.S. Postal Service privatized. Yeah. It's one of the government agencies people say, hey, this works. And then there are businesses that rely on the U.S. Postal Services being able to reach weird places like Amazon.
Yep.
Yeah.
And any place that does mail order.
That's why they need to make it change and fuck it all up.
But I mean, I don't even know.
Until Congress forced a change on them, I don't know how many years back, the Postal Service was solvent and self-sufficient. It receives no money from taxpayers at all. It generates all its revenue by the sales of stamps and services.
Armoth's part of Athena Services. I don't know if she's ever seen one. But I imagine she would go after it just as like a novelty.
I mean, obviously, because they, for it, when I say the UK Postal Service, up until the early 2000s, I mean, there was a historic 500-year monopoly that the Royal Mail had, essentially, on being the cheapest provider, which they obviously then decided they wanted competition and revoke the monopoly and so on to open up the market. But they kind of, in a way, they did it in a way in the UK where they allowed rather than allowing any, should we say, true competition. I mean, this is going by their own logic and own ideology here. They actually just allowed the Royal Mail to compete with its one hand tied behind its back, where we had to provide a service to every address in the country on a daily basis, where the private firms could just pick and choose where they would operate, and basically cherry pick the profitable parts. That's not exactly what I would. I mean, if you're going to have this free for all, at least start with the concept of a level playing field and not give the, but yeah, the service you actually get from the Royal Mail, you might get letters if you're lucky once a week, and what will happen is you'll get all of a sudden, one day a week, you're going to have about 10 letters pushed through your letterbox, which you know have been building up there for a week, because they just cannot. They have destroyed their infrastructure so badly, and have not adapted to. They just, and they have the people who actually own the company have been there. I've witnessed them twice lie to Parliament select committees about this as well. So, yeah, all I can say is you need to take one look at what has happened to the Royal Mail, which I would say go back about 15 years ago. The Royal Mail was the best postal service in the world anywhere. I would put it up against any postal service in the world. And look what has happened to it.
Well, first of all, no
privatization. Yes, it's not a good idea to do it.
No one wants what Donald Trump wants here.
Well, so you're looking in this Postal Service established in 1775, with the Second Continental Congress appointed Benjamin Franklin as Postmaster General.
Yeah.
And the Pony Express is in April 3rd, 1860 to October 26th, 1861.
So the USPS has a little bit more history to it. Essentially the USPS is.
Yep.
Essentially, like I said, it has its roots pre Declaration of Independence just there, but it would have been what is essentially the sort of British Royal Mail up until that point, essentially.
Yeah, well, I was just looking up the ruling I was referring to. It was in 2006. There was a congressional ruling passed that now requires the U.S. Post Office to pre-fund all of its retirement plans 75 years in advance. And up until they were required to do that, the post office was solvent and profitable.
Yeah, it's very similar stories with. It's very, very similar stories across the pond. There was one big year in I think 2001, 2002, where the Royal Mail made a £2 billion loss. But the reason it made the £2 billion loss was essentially because the Royal Mail was essentially treated as a government-owned business rather than a service. That it successfully paid for itself and was profitable for many, many years. And then certain people in charge decided to make some very bad investments in trying to acquire delivery and courier firms overseas. Like they acquired some firm in Canada, which was a disaster, and then some firm in Germany, which was a disaster, and suddenly lost £2 billion of the British taxpayers' money, which in a way I think kind of set the seeds. So unfortunately this wasn't reported very well, but it was just saying that the Royal Mail had lost money, so the public are there thinking, well, this is taxpayer money here. But the thing was, it really wasn't taxpayer money a lot of the time with the Royal Mail, because we paid for ourselves and actually put a bit back into the government for many, many years. But certain idiots made some very bad investments. So yes, there ended up being a government bailout for us, but which I think set the ball rolling. And then eventually, it's in 2013 when we had a Conservative government privatised it. Now I will say a Labour government previous to that actually tried to privatise it as well, but we actually fought that effort back.
So why haven't the British just elected Larry the Cat to be their prime minister?
Well, the thing is, Larry, the prime minister, serves under Larry the Cat. It's like, I mean, on paper, the Prime Minister serves under the King. In reality, the Prime Minister serves at Larry's pleasure. And I believe, how many has he gone through now? Just trying to think. Cameron, May.
7, I think.
Yeah, Cameron, May, Johnson, Truss, Sunak, Starmer. So yeah, and actually, I don't know if you how much you obviously Starmer is going. If you don't know, he's essentially resigns and waiting. Basically, we're waiting on a new prime minister. Is most likely going to be a guy called Andy Burnham. So who will be I believe the 7th prime minister to serve under Larry the Cat.
And let's all go through my favorite story about a postman that starts with the postman getting shot in the head.
I
And
don't
then
think
going
that
on,
was his favorite story then.
and then goes on to engage in a geopolitical struggle in a post-apocalyptic Mojave Desert.
This isn't the plot of a Kevin Costner movie by any chance.
No, that's the plot of Fallout New Vegas.
The only thing I'll say is my favourite story involving a postman is one I cannot tell on a live stream. So,
Does Terry Pratchett own the copyrights? He did have a novel called Going Postal.
yeah, I've seen the TV adaptation of that, which I quite chuckled at,
But that was clearly written later in his career because you can tell.
Well,
The writing,
the post office used to do a lot more than it does now. Not too far back, they used to operate and offer almost all the services you would expect at a bank.
well, people have said it's like they really should offer those again just because it's, and a lot of countries do that, but the U.S. just refuses.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think technically the post office counters in the UK do offer that service, I think. But post office counters is a bit of a weird thing because when we were privatised, we sort of broke up the business, and there's a difference between what we call crown postal officers and sub postal officers, which are like franchises, and it's all a little bit weird. But essentially, they did. Most of them do, I think, still offer some degree of banking service, but
Yeah, I think it would be good for the post office to, go back to offering savings accounts.
Seems to be never a good time for them to mow the lawn, is it?
Well, I'm just surprised they're doing it on a day when there's a heat advisory.
That
or
doesn't
extreme
surprise
heat
me.
warning.
No, I used to work for a company that did that, and it's yeah, he didn't care if it wasn't raining. We had to be out there cutting.
I mean, they probably make sure they have plenty of water, but
Oh, I hated that job.
and it's been a relatively wet summer.
Mhm.
Not to mention we had that surprise severe weather outbreak that a couple weeks ago. I can't believe there were 3 tornado warnings for this county, but I never heard anything on my phone because apparently the city wasn't affected. It was a weird day, and I mean, no one was expecting anything to happen like that to happen that day.
Yeah. Oh.
And I'm done with tornado warnings. It's we don't need any more of those.
Yes.
Yeah, well, just
I'm
in
dreading.
Huh?
I'm dreading the hurricanes this year.
Well, at least hurricanes, you have a lot of warning. Well, despite
Used to.
Trump's best efforts, you still have a lot of warning in advance that they might be coming.
Yeah.
The tornado can kind of form right over your head without even.
Well, you have some. I mean, even the National Weather Service still has like some convective outlooks where you can tell it's like there's a chance that this type of weather could happen here today. Like I think purple's in one right now. If you look at the maps.
I mean, with the weather conditions in the UK, I mean, we very, very rarely get tornadoes in the UK, and when we do, they're nothing like the tornadoes you guys get if you're in Tornado Alley in the US. But they, because we're so unused to them, when we get what would probably be a mild tornado in the US, it's absolutely causes havoc here if we ever get them because they're so rare.
Great Britain actually has more tornadoes per square mile than the U.S.
Probably not difficult considering the size of Britain to the US, but yeah, but the tornadoes we get by and large are quite minuscule in comparison. But if we do get one that is, so should we say, somewhat significant, it causes a lot of damage.
Just happens to be. But yeah, it was just a weird night. So.
Yeah, they were testing the tornado siren here about an hour before the stream, but that's normal. They usually test it on the first Wednesday of each month.
Actually, it was kind of weird here because, like, where I lived in Pennsylvania, they used those sirens for a fire alarm. And it was so weird.
In Michigan, they did too. They used the tornado sirens to summon the volunteer fire department.
Well, it's just like severe weather like that was not common, so. The only time I recall them being used for a weather threat was like a flood in 1994. And it was kind of like an ice dam break that was, I believe, was somewhat historic.
Well, obviously we don't have anything like sirens or I mean, well, there
was
were
96.
We had a lot of sirens around the UK but they were, should we say, mainly in use in the early 1940s for a different reason altogether. So.
The sirens we used for weather were in place for nuclear war. They just got repurposed.
Yeah, ours were all over the UK for air raids during World War II. So you had sort of like two different tones. It was one where it was kind of a sort of up and down tone, which signals an air raid was coming, and then one continuous one was when it was sort of safe to come out of your shelters or whatever. So.
And why is that causing you to remember a Doctor Who episode with the Ninth Doctor that was, well, to describe a Doctor Who episode is weird as to describe all of them, but it's one where, like, some sort of, like, technology was turning everyone into, like, zombies with gas mask faces until the Doctor figures out it's like, oh, this is actually trying to heal people, and we need to show them what it's supposed to look like.
So this was Eccleston era,
yes.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
I'm glad you guys know that he's. I'm glad you guys, like anyone who's Doctor Who, knows that Eccleston's the Ninth Doctor, because a lot of people forget that Paul McGann was the Eighth Doctor. So.
I don't know. Eccleston always came off as like an American biker somehow, even though he was not.
Yeah, I wasn't a massive. A lot of people are massive fans of this. I wasn't a massive fan of Eccleston as the Doctor. I mean, it was sort of Tennant. That Tennant was the guy who kind of like really got me interested again when they did the revamp from the classic Doctor Who era, but I mean, I'm actually somewhat disappointed. I know they did like the one-off TV movie with Paul McGann as the Eighth Doctor. I'm a little bit disappointed that nothing was done because I think McGann could have been such an excellent Doctor given the time. He was the right kind of actor for it.
If I recall, that was like a joint American-British venture, and that's probably why it failed, because Doctor Who is not an American show.
Yeah, it was I think was it a collab between BBC and I think was it Fox? I can't remember which network. Yeah, it's probably why it failed. But I know the villain was the Master, if I remember correctly.
I don't want to see a British Star Trek or an American Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason the American Red Dwarf bombed after the pilot, so it's just.
But Red Dwarf was a mix of like American and British science fiction. It was parodying both.
Yeah, but there was a pilot for an American version of Red Dwarf, and it bombed quite badly, from my understanding. But I do believe the actor that played Danny John Jules, who's the cat, was the cat in the American pilot as well. But I think from what I gathered, they kind of very much missed the point of Lister as a character in the American pilot of it, where very much I think Lister was kind of too cool of a character in a sense, where
they gave him ambition.
Yeah, well, I mean, the classic thing is the actor who plays Lister, Craig Charles. I mean, he sort of said like originally, like the creators did not want to cast him because like Craig Charles, has got a very, very strong Liverpool accent, which very much comes out. And the two creators of Red Dwarf were like guys from Manchester. And if you just know, there's a little bit of rivalry between those two cities. And as Craig Charles said, they didn't want to cast me because they didn't like the idea that the last human being left alive in the universe was going to be a Scouser. So,
I don't know what the Blakes is, so I cannot tell you. I do have to finish watching The Burrows. I actually need to catch up on Spider-Man Noir.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet. Is that any good?
Yes, but watch it in authentic black and white, not true hue color.
Okay.
Because you can watch them both ways, but
yeah. Well, if you're going to do a noir thing, I think black and white's the way to go.
Or if you're going to do a noir film, do it in sepia.
Mm.
So it looks like a darker world. You can get away with color and more. It's just because that's what Joker was. But Joker also takes place in Gotham City, so it's like, even though it's like, I think Joker's supposed to take place in the late 80s, somewhere around there. Gotham City always looks like it's like back somehow in the 1940s.
I've never watched the Joker sequel because I've heard too many bad things about it, but I don't know, maybe I ought to give it a go and just make my own mind up. But I definitely very much enjoyed the Joker movie.
The problem is the Joker sequel was trying to be Joker doing a musical. I think actually would work, but it didn't actually do it as like a musical. It just had like recorded versions playing over the characters. It was not executed well.
So it's a good idea, but not executed well. Would be the
I mean, the idea of Joker forcing everyone into a musical. I don't know. What do you think, Mage?
I don't know.
You could see Joker forcing everyone into a musical, though, right?
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I can see the character doing that.
But that's not what it was. Like maybe like collaborating with Scarecrow or some character like that to make people think they're in a musical.
Mad Hatter.
Is he still in the Batman Rogues Gallery?
Yeah. I mean, he was done well in the. I'd say Mad Hatter was done fairly well in the Gotham TV show. That he was done fairly well in that.
Yeah, I never saw Blake 7.
Do you know what? I've never actually sat down and watched Blake 7, even though it's like a classic bit of British sci-fi. I don't think I've ever watched that.
About the time it came out, I was not very old, and later I would have been watching Battlestar Galactica reruns, Buck Rogers reruns, and Star Trek with my dad.
Yeah. Are you talking about the OG Battlestar? Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously that. Yeah. I mean, I love the OG Battlestar, but I'm gonna say this might sound like sacrilege to some people, but I enjoyed the remake more.
The remake was better written, had a better story, even though I think for consistency with the writing, they should have had the humans get destroyed at the end.
Yeah. I quite liked the ending of the remake. Actually, I quite liked the. I kind of like where it went.
Well, the problem is they had a really dark storyline where they were just constantly being hounded. It would make sense if the Cylons virtually overcame them.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is like everyone was like, sci-fi was like, oh crap, this is popular. We can't send it this way.
Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, it definitely was a. I mean, the remake was definitely a product of its time as well. I mean, it was very. Should we say the fact that it was very immediately post 9/11 was very. Quite obvious, really, if you watch it now.
Well, the original Battlestar Galactica was a product of its time too.
Yeah. Yeah, but I would say the original one, where I think it stood out from should we say a lot of things, is like it did have something that, because let's be honest, a lot of what was coming out with sci-fi then was like very shameless Star Wars cash-ins.
Which Battlestar Galactica was.
Which is what it was. But I don't know, it did have something a bit deeper, Galactica 1980 thing, obviously was a bit of a.
Well, it was only originally supposed to be a series of made-for-TV movies.
Yeah. Well, I believe that was what the original plan was. It wasn't going to be like a 1 hour show. The idea was it was going to be like they do 2 or 3 of these like big TV movies a year or something. I believe was what the original plan was.
And I would like to see a remake of Buck Rogers again, not the 1980s camp version, but
a lot more like the Buster Crab stuff from the 30s.
Yeah, or just like a slightly darker reboot.
Mm. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I know the Flash Gordon remake did not go well at all.
Are we talking the TV series?
Yeah, the sci-fi TV series.
Very shortly, yeah. I watched about 2 or 3 episodes of that because I was quite interested when I saw it, and then I was like, after about 2 or 3 episodes, I just zoned out and I was like, no, I can't be arsed with this.
Because Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers came about the same time.
Mm.
The difference is Flash Gordon is like a Harvard graduate, whereas Buck Rogers is like the everyman.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, what I learned from should we say the late 70s, early 80s Buck Rogers in the 25th century is kind of the future involves a hell of a lot of lip gloss.
Listen, Buck Rogers may be one of the reasons why disco died.
Yeah. Although, it's as bad as it is, I do kind of have a soft spot for Twiggy. I don't know why.
Twiggy?
But Yeah, I can't do the thing, but Mel Blanc was voicing him, wasn't he?
Yes. Same person who did the original voice for Bugs Bunny and many of the Looney Tunes characters.
Yeah.
Yep.
He also voiced one of the Flintstones too, I think. I don't remember which one though. I want to say Barney.
Did a lot of voices.
Yeah,
I know he did all of the Looney Tunes for years, didn't he? But
Well, not all of them, but
oh, okay. Mel Blanc did voice Barney Rubble, but not on the Flintstones, on the Pebbles and Bam Bam show.
Sorry, what's the comment there? My unfinished journey. Can I just say something? So say we all. That comment.
Dawes Butler apparently voiced Barney Rubble in the original series. I also recall the Flintstones was so similar to the Honeymooners that the Honeymooners producer sued them. Hey. I still prefer the original just for nostalgia purposes, but it's fair to say the newer one was better written. Even if some things on it didn't make as much sense.
Yeah. I did one of the I think was one of the feature length things they did in the remakes where I did get a little bit of a kick from the remake of Battlestar Galactica when I think it was the TV movie Razor where they actually bought like the original Cylons in. That I don't know. I got a bit of a kick out of that, and I know it was kind of fan service in a way, but it was done very well.
And there was also the spin-off Caprica, which I turned the sound off and just watched the visuals.
I like to pretend that never happens, but
hey, the visuals were great.
I do think the one of the I actually did watch this like Q&A fan panel with the actors and the remake, and I think somebody asked Mary McDonnell, who played the President Roslin in Battlestar Galactica, says, "Who's the worst president, Donald Trump or Gaius Baltar?" And her answer was like, "Take that guy to the airlock, please." So
I don't know. I mean, I do like Gaius Baltar more in the original version, where he's an unapologetic villain.
Yeah.
And you don't have to think it's is he a villain because he's just wrapped with guilt?
Oh yeah. I mean, Baltar in the original is just kind of he's a classic villain, isn't he? You know, he's just as they sort of made him, he's somewhat sympathetic at least at times in the remake.
But I also don't believe it's the Galactica knows that he played a role. Why is he not in jail? It's like. And then, at the end, it's like, oh, this was all part of God's plan to let Baltar do what he did.
Yeah. I mean, I think I can even sort of overlook all the whole, religious undertones of the remake and that, but...
Well, they were there in the original. They were just more blatant.
I mean, crikey, yeah. There was definitely a whole, the 12 Lost Tribes of Israel thing about it. And to be honest, a BSG is the Exodus in space. Essentially is what it is.
It's more like the Mormons being pushed.
There's a lot of I was going to say in the original, there's a lot of Mormon stuff in
It's
it.
Mormons being pushed out of like Nauvoo
Yeah,
and trying to find someplace safe. Because the original producer and the executive producer was a Mormon.
yeah. I know there's a lot of Mormon stuff in that, but it definitely can be read as like the Exodus in space as well. Though it's very.
But I don't know. I personally love like some of the old actors. Like I'm ashamed. I wish they brought back Count Ebly, a metaphor for the devil.
Yeah.
But I think Patrick McNee, the actor who originally played him, would have been dead by that time.
Yeah. Mr. John Steed, you mean? Yeah.
No, that Patrick McNee played Count Ebly.
Yeah. Patrick McNee is like John Steed in the Avengers. That guy.
Because he was also in a Ray Bradbury Theater, where he was like the main character in this story, Usher 2.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the right guy here, aren't I? I'm pretty sure I am. British actor.
But I was going to say, my dad watched The Avengers, the British show, not the Avengers, the Marvel comic book movie.
Yeah.
Never cared for it, but
it was what it was for the time. I mean, I often say that, like, I mean, I often have to sort of tell, like, should we say, sort of younger people who grew up on like Game of Thrones that I had to point out. There's the character in there called Linnea Tyrell, who's played by Diana Rigg. I tried to explain to younger people, said that woman was an absolute sex symbol in Britain in the 1960s in the Avengers with Emma Peel.
Game of Thrones did give us 7 great seasons.
Yeah, yeah. But, allegedly, there's this 8th season, but we don't talk about that. But I still say, George, if you'd gotten further along with the books, maybe we'd not had suffer through season 8.
I don't think George R.R. Martin is going to write any books after 5. I think the ending for the Game of Thrones series is what we're going to get.
Yeah.
Because
Well, that's what I did, like the little South Park sort of parody of like the Game of Thrones, where George R.R. Martin
keeps
sort of
pushing back Black Friday.
Yeah. Oh, well, the whole thing of like where he's ordered, he said, "Oh, we'll order some pizza in," and like, "Where's this pizza coming?" "Oh, it's coming. Don't worry, it is coming." You know, it's like you said that 2 hours. You know.
And then his rendition of the Game of Thrones theme, it's like,
yeah,
it's like only South Park would do that.
Oh, yeah. I say South Park, when it's good, it is absolutely on the ball, but sometimes it can. Sometimes, yeah, when they're off the mark, they're way off the mark as well.
Well, South Park, much like The Simpsons, has gone on too long.
Yeah.
They even made fun of that.
I mean, you can only be counterculture for so long before you become culture, the main culture.
Well, that is definitely what happened with The Simpsons. I used to absolutely love The Simpsons, and now if I see it on TV, I just like I'm gonna flip the channel. You know, unless there's some old episodes or some really old episodes, but
it still has its good parts. It's like Futurama. It's like, do we really need another Futurama reboot?
Yeah.
I'd say the last South Park season was pretty decent.
Well, they finally figured out how to parody Trump.
Yeah.
And I
think, like, for example, like South Park, when it was like at its best, like there, where I'm not going to say the word, but when they did that whole episode around the N word, if you know the episode, but they actually did that in a way that was quite thought-provoking and actually made a decent point. But I think they tried to do something similar around the, should we say, the F slur around like gay people, and I think, yeah, no, don't get me wrong, I love the fact that they took the piss out of Harley Davidson riders. As I completely enjoyed that, but I think they missed the point with they missed the ball completely when they tried to do it with that particular slur. That's
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. And South Park does not exactly have a good track record when it comes to dealing with LGBTQ issues.
Yeah.
Now, as much as
although I will say that one little good pun they made out of about the like Harley riders, or like just something like, what if somebody's thinking about getting Harley, says, well, then they're bike curious. Now, I did think that was a good pun, but that was about the one good pun in that whole
I mean,
episode.
what do you have against Harleys? I don't. I mean, other than the fact that they're overpriced for what they are.
No. I mean, let's not say this. You know that 95% of all Harley Davidson motorcycles ever made are still on the road. Did you know that?
I'm not surprised. They're reliable. Motorcycles are mechanically simple, and there's not electronic.
No, 95% of them are still on the road. The other 5% actually made it home without breaking down. Sorry, if you're gonna, I'm gonna just say this, and I'm sorry, I know I'm in the room for the Americans.
I was gonna say, maybe the British, maybe the ones that make it to.
No, if you're gonna buy a motorcycle, go Japanese. I'm sorry.
Maybe the ones that make it to Britain aren't as good, but Harleys.
Yeah, no. They are the very same bikes. If you're gonna buy a motorcycle, buy Japanese. They are way cheaper, way more reliable, and more fun to ride.
Harleys are just bought for the name mostly. There are other American motorcycle manufacturers like Indian.
Indian, I would, yes, overpriced, but I definitely. But if you're going to go for something, if you wanted something completely reliable, you cannot go wrong with Japanese motorcycles, honestly.
And my guitar is made by Yamaha, but
I've much normally bought by a Yamaha Dragstar than a Harley or an Indian.
Well, I'm pretty sure you can't buy a Harley guitar, but you can buy a Yamaha guitar.
Yep.
Because Yamaha makes instruments as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's why the sort of tuning fork things is part of their logo. So
it's actually a pretty good guitar.
Yeah, I mean they make very good electric keyboards. So they're sort of I mean, probably even more so than motorcycles, possibly. But
I mean, it doesn't have a good player, but it is a good guitar. And I bought it just because I liked it sound better than the other instruments in the store.
No, last motorcycle I owned was a Kawasaki, a Z750 Kawasaki. It was a good bike. Last bike I owned.
Well, I mean, the main problem with motorcycles here is that first of all, most of us in this chat are probably, I shouldn't say most of us. Some of us have balance issues, which will get worse as we get older, so maybe motorcycles aren't the best choice unless we buy 3 wheels. And 2, I mean, Britain has this problem too. There's this thing we have called winter.
Yep.
And I don't know about in Britain, but in the Midwest, it gets pretty cold in the winter, especially in places like Minnesota.
I would say we don't get anywhere near the kind of cold you guys get. Definitely not. But so I mean, I'd say motorcycles are maybe a little more practical here than they are in America, but but like I said, even so I mean, like, Britain had a very thriving motorcycle industry, and it's now down to like literally like one or two manufacturers. It's like Triumph and Norton, pretty much. The Royal Enfield name's still going, but that's actually an Indian firm now. It's not a British firm, yeah. I mean, I know America's got a number of manufacturers like Harley, and obviously Buell, who were owned by Harley at one time, but I don't think they are anymore. Victory, which if I'm going to buy an American cruiser bike, I'd buy a Victory over a Harley Davidson any day. But
I'm surprised, like, Tesla hasn't started making e-motorcycles.
yeah, well,
Do you really want to give them ideas?
I will say some of the other manufacturers are already ahead of the game on Elon on that particular one.
Listen, the only ideas I want to give Tesla's owner are to follow Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s health advice to the letter. And maybe take higher doses of ketamine on a regular basis. It's okay to vacation in Chernobyl. It's not going to be that bad. Is Purple still here? Or is she fallen asleep?
I would say my advice to him would be, yes, develop a high-speed, race-worthy electric motorcycle, but on the condition, Elon, you've got to do a full that Elon himself has to ride the course of the Isle of Man TT.
Or NASA will help you be the first person on Mars.
Yeah, again, but I'm just saying the Isle of Man get him to ride the Isle of Man TT. It might be a cheaper way of getting rid of him because of the death toll in that particular race is quite high.
It's a shame Ocean Gate is no longer a thing. We could schedule him several trips on the Titan. At least I hope Ocean Gate is no longer a thing, because, like I said, is Purple still here? I haven't heard from her in a while.
I don't know.
Perhaps you there?
Purple.
Maybe we should step out for something for a moment. So.
If she didn't hear it, it's just I haven't heard from her in a while. She's also the only one that can end the stream, so...
No, I can end it.
Okay.
Mage does have those rights. So.
Privileges.
Yeah. Technically, I could set up a stream too, but I consider that off limits. I don't think it's right for me to set up a stream on somebody else's channel.
Well, not without permission, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have her number in my cell phone, but...
I mean...
One could throw him off the Brighton Pier. No, I think having NASA help him be the first person on Mars will be fine. It's not like the rocket needs life support equipment or anything, because that will cost extra money that was cut by Doge.
Yeah, notice how all the money that Doge cut has cost us more money.
The one thing that people seem to not understand about Elon Musk, if they pay no attention to his background, is he has a long history of incompetence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you know anything about the fields he tries to insert himself into, like when he took over Twitter, he was saying absolutely idiotic things about software development. Like, let's hire our programmers who write the least code. Who write the fewest lines of code. It's like, you moron, those are your best programmers. It's like, you don't want people to write code just to write code. You want efficient code.
He is like the ultimate example of somebody who's failed upwards, really, isn't he? You know?
I can't say he's totally incompetent. He does.
I mean, obviously he's. I mean, look, obviously he's made some very smart. He wouldn't be whereas if he hadn't made some very smart business decisions. But I mean, just the way that he's devalued Twitter in itself is like.
He's a good businessman, but he's not an engineer. He wasn't a genius, and nor was he an inventor.
And I think this is the thing: is that he did a very good. He did what he has been very clever about. Is almost, or at least he was for a while, was putting himself in that whole like space of like sort of like with these like companies like Tesla, or when he got into SpaceX, of almost positioning himself as an quote unquote inventor stroke engineer, when he really had nothing to do with anything in like technology wise of either of these companies.
Yeah, he's not the one that builds the rockets.
But but I think he almost positioned himself as that kind of like cool science guy that that also is a good businessman. I mean, he had that con going on people for a few years.
And if he had kept his mouth shut, people would still think he's a genius.
Yeah, he'd be beloved if he kept his fucking mouth shut. But I think, I think even before like he got like talking openly about politics or anything like that, it's like I think one of the things that made me realise he was full of shit when he started talking about Hyperloop. And that was one of the things that's like made me realise like, this guy's full of shit. His worldwide train network running on maglev technology, and there is something to be said for magnetic levitation trains. They're
they exist. They're efficient.
But yeah, that there is something to be said, but the kind of crap he was promising, it was like, yeah, you know what I mean? You're going to be able to cross the Atlantic on a train in like a matter of hours with this Hyperloop technology. You know what I mean? It's just like
Hyperloop.
Like, this is bullshit.
Couldn't you get the damn test thing and work right?
This has nothing to do with Tesla, but I remember a while back I came across a story where like people were trying to come up with the AI as a way to solve city traffic problems, and the AIs kept inventing trains. I think there's something to be said there. It's like, oh hey, let's make this type of car that can hold like hundreds of people, that can reach most parts of the city.
And we still have massive traffic jams in the UK, and yet we got like more railway per square mile than any country in the world. But then we also stupidly charge way more than for a fare than it's anywhere else as well. So,
well, we don't really have like the type of national railroad system here that lets us, like, for we're a small town, take the train somewhere.
Well, there's something wrong. I mean, and I'll say again, a little bit. This is circling back. Do you know how I said about the privatisation of the postal service here was a disaster? The privatisation of our railways was an even bigger disaster. Now, the last time I went to Scotland, so I booked several days in Edinburgh. It's going back a number of years. Me and my ex-girlfriend spent a few days in Edinburgh. So we were looking at train fares because we were thinking, okay, that might be a cheaper way to go. But then I looked at an airfare. It was £5 more to fly from where I live to Edinburgh than it was to. And now I live, just for reference, I live on the south coast of England. Okay, so it literally was £5. So what's that? Like $6 or $7 more to fly to Edinburgh than get the train, and the train would have taken about 8 hours, and I could fly there in one for an extra like $6 or $7. That's how ridiculous the train fares are. I think that's a great example. So yeah, I was like, okay. As opposed to paying £110, I'll pay £117 so that flight I could be there in 1 hour and not have to spend the whole damn a day, a day each way on a bloody train.
Like I said, we don't even have that kind of system here because the only nationalized train company we have is Amtrak, which Joe Biden loved.
Yeah, they're not great, let's be honest. But I mean, I'm not saying that our old nationalized railways were great. They had their issues, but
well, I think they would do better if they didn't have to lease rails from other railroad companies.
Yeah, I mean that's a daft system in itself. Yeah, but we've got a daft system here as well. But I mean, this is I definitely think railway systems work a lot better when the whole thing is in state ownership, and I think there's definitely some good examples of that around the world. I mean, there are some bad examples as well. I mean, I won't lie, but I mean, probably the best railway service actually, the best railway journey or the best railway ride I've ever been on was in Peru, of all places, and I'm thinking that, I was there thinking to myself, how can a country like Peru have a better rail service than the UK? But Holland, I've had a very good experience with with the Netherlands. I've had very mixed experience with the French railways.
Is that because you're British or because they were French?
No, actually, I'll say this. The French railways used to have an amazing reputation. The SNCF used to have an amazing reputation. But last time I was trying to get, we were desperately trying to get back on time to catch our ferry back to England, and the train was 90 minutes late. And this was a regular thing. We suddenly come to realize this was a regular thing on this particular line. We didn't know when we went there, but yeah, we literally went from Nancy, which is like halfway between Paris and Rouen. So we went from Nancy to Rouen. We literally had to run to catch another train in Rouen train station. Rouen's a fairly big city. Literally just made it in there to get to Caen, which is where we picked our ferry up from. We were lucky because we've very nearly got stranded in France because of the shit service on the SNCF. So.
Oh, hey, the U.S. men's team is actually doing well in the World Cup this year.
Well, the England team barely got through their game today, but
Didn't the U.S. team do pretty decent last year until they got in the finals?
Well, the U.S. men's team generally sucks to begin with.
Yeah, well, it's a game that doesn't get as much attention here.
But apparently this year they just decided, let's not have U.S. nationals. Let's go get immigrants who can play soccer. which I'm sure the Trump regime loves. But
Well, I do know that England have got, in their next game, have got Mexico in Mexico City. So could be
Well,
interesting. I think England are going to go out.
I was going to say, if I were FIFA, I would not have allowed the World Cup to be here this year.
If you're expecting, but if you're expecting like FIFA to do anything,
Not corrupt.
Well, FIFA, the last time they actually took a moral stand upon anything, when it came to a host nation, was making the decision not to give the World Cup to Germany in 1938. And the only reason they did that is that they got burned by the previous World Cup they'd held was in Italy in 1934, and they got burned by Mussolini, so they were a little wary of, like, I don't know, so to say, certain regimes exploiting it for propaganda purposes. But that is honestly like the last time FIFA ever did anything good. It's actually about the only time in their history.
Well, Donald Trump has bombed more countries than any other FIFA Peace Prize winner.
True.
I wonder if there are going to be any other FIFA Peace Prize winners. Because that was just...
I'm trying to think. Mohammed bin Salman in 2034, I think, is going to get it.
That was his Trump's participation trophy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
I'm sure.
Well, here's the thing. Like, the next World Cup in 2030 is going to be hosted between like 6 different nations. I think Spain, Portugal, Morocco, Uruguay, Argentina, and I forget the other one. It's now what had happened there is that a load of countries had put in a bid for the 2030 World Cup. Now, and some of them were going to put in a bid for the 2034 World Cup. So FIFA came up for this great idea because it's supposed to be their centenary, blah, blah, blah. They'd have this thing with like 6 different countries from across Europe and South America and Africa would host matches. So, goddamn all the travel there. Just so they could give Saudi Arabia a clear run for 2034 to get it.
Well, the next World Cup won't be in... First of all, the next World Cup should be in 2028 with the Women's World Cup.
Yeah. Sorry, I know. Yeah, you are right. Because I stand corrected. I'm sorry if I'm talking about like the Men's World Cups. Yeah, there's kind of a reason for it because it is sadly not the big event. I mean, it is the biggest sports event in the world without a doubt. There's no getting away from that. But yeah, that was they essentially did this convoluted thing for the next World Cup, for the 2030 World Cup, just so they could give the Saudis a clear run and let them bid unopposed for 2034. And I think Mohammed bin Salman will be the next FIFA Peace Prize winner. Now, my personal view on this is if they had any sense of honouring their own history whatsoever, is that 2030 will officially be the 100th anniversary of the World Cup. Now, the first World Cup was held in Uruguay, and the 2 finalists were Uruguay and Argentina. Now, that is the bid. I think they should have got it. If they're going to honour their history, a joint hosting between Uruguay and Argentina is the thing that should have happened here. They did this convoluted thing just to appease the Saudis.
Honestly, I don't think there's going to be another FIFA Peace Prize.
Oh no, I think Prince, or maybe he might be King Mohammed bin Salman by that point. I think he'll get one. And then 2038, when they give it to a North Korea or whoever, as one of the Kim dynasty will get it.
Yeah. Well, the World Cup is never going to be a big thing here. And honestly, Donald Trump's World Cup has been so successful that it's been one of the least attended World Cups in history.
Yeah.
Almost like a lot of foreigners don't want to come here.
Well, people don't want to come to the United States, and the bloody ticket prices are extortionate.
Speaking of which, do you hear that? First of all, he's putting his ugly mug on our passports. But secondly, the passports say "Welcome, be good."
Yeah. Fortunately, you can avoid getting that if you want to.
Well, he needs to realize people don't want to see his ugly face everywhere. People are really fed up with him at this point.
And apparently, they're a limited edition thing where it's only like the first 25,000 who opt in get it.
The only place I want to see Donald Trump's face right now is either on an impeachment headline or on an obituary.
I'll take a mugshot.
Well, we already got that.
I don't know. I could make a good shooting target at his face.
Not sure that would go over well at the local archery range.
I know. I just say I could probably. All I'm saying is I could possibly do better than the last two people. That's all I'm saying. Not words, but.
Oh, I'm sure it'd be fine at a British archery range. I just don't know it would go over well at a local archery range.
I was actually thinking more rifles myself, but anyway.
Probably would go even less well there. Because I know the one place... Because we have like this... Because we're in the United States, there's this huge store that sells guns here called Top Gun.
I thought it was called Walmart.
Well, Walmart doesn't sell exclusively guns. But Walmart does sell guns.
Not exclusively guns, but I would say generally Walmart has it.
Weirdly enough, over in Illinois, they don't. But here in this state, they absolutely do sell guns in Walmart.
Sorry, Walmart.
But no, we have an actual,
we
have like a huge gun store that's exclusively a gun store.
I said one time I went into Walmart. They sell way more guns than your average specialist British gun shop sells.
But I'm just saying Walmart isn't like this big gun exclusive store. It's a Walmart.
Yeah. Porpoise, I know. That's where I'm saying the big difference between Britain and America is.
But Britain would not have. Yeah, it's gonna. Britain would have like this huge store dedicated to just selling guns.
Yeah. Now we got little localized shops, and because obviously British gun laws are a lot different, and I'm saying this is someone who has owned a gun in Britain. So. But you cannot get a handgun here for you just almost cannot get a handgun here, and there's a distinction between what we have between what they call firearms and shotgun licenses, which essentially is basically different licenses. So we say rifle barrels and smoothbore barrels. So I technically had a shotgun license.
Well, Indiana's kind of in a weird place because their governor is now less popular than Donald Trump. Which is impressive to pull off because I think Donald Trump has, his approval rating in the most recent poll was 30%. Which I love seeing for him because I think people are just tired of his I think people are finally just tired of him.
Yeah, I could go with that.
Love this person. Do you loons understand in that you've been overplayed your hand? No one believes your narrative anymore, or about America and Trump, all that. Plus, the whole world has now seen in the true America, not the kind that you antis want foreigners to believe. My response: the world thinks the U.S. is idiocracy personified. FIFA Cup says otherwise. What does a team winning a trophy have to do with the world's perception and of its government? Let's see. People came from all over the world to America for FIFA and saw firsthand how the media lied to them. They had to spell lie wrong, by the way. That we are in fact the kind and generous people. So, other people around the world, what do you think? Did the FIFA World Cup prove that our narrative about the world, just about America being shit, change your mind?
The only thing I'm going to say about the world, I'm going to say one thing about the World Cup is there have been some very, very good football chants from certain groups of fans about Trump. I think there have been.
Sorry, but the Aussies had the best one.
The Aussies, yeah, the Aussies. I think the Aussies had the best one. England had the second best one, I'd say. But the Aussie ones were doing the Tom Hawk song. You know, it was the Aussie boys are on a bender. Donald
Trump is a sex offender.
Yeah.
I think the England one was he's fat, got piles, he's in the Epstein files. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
A good one too. But I did find the meme that shows what MAGA actually stands for.
Go on then.
Morons are governing America.
Yep. Not bad.
Well, if the U.S. men's team surprises me and the U.S. actually wins a World Cup, which hasn't happened, I think, since the 1930s.
And it's never happened. The U.S. men's team are not going to win the World Cup. Never. Probably never going to win the World Cup.
It hasn't happened since the 1930s.
The U.S. men's team have never won the World Cup.
That is incorrect.
No, that is correct. They got to the semi-final in 1930. Uruguay won that year. Sorry, I'm a bit of a nerd for this. I can tell you every team that's won the Men's World Cup.
Because I looked it up because, as far as I knew, the U.S. never did. But no, they've done it once.
What, the Men's World Cup? No, they've never won the Men's World Cup.
Nope. I don't see anything.
I'll tell you this. First World Cup, Uruguay, they won it in 1930. Italy, 1934 and 1938. And there wasn't another World Cup until 1950 because of the Second World War. Uruguay won that. 54 was West Germany. 58 and 1962 Brazil. 1966 England. 1970 Brazil. 1974 West Germany, 1978 Argentina, 1982 Italy, 1986 Argentina, 1990 I believe it was West Germany, soon to be Germany again. 1994 Brazil, 1998 France, 2002 Brazil, 2006 who won that? I want to say Italy. I think 2010 was Spain. 2014, I believe, was Germany. 2018 was France, and then Argentina. So the US men's team have never won the World Cup. They did get to the semi-finals in 1930, and they famously knocked England out of the World Cup in 1950 when England were the favourites and the US were like the rank outsiders.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, the Britannica.com here. The United States men's national team has never won the World Cup. The team's best result in the competition came in 1930 when it reached the semifinals, losing 6-1 to Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, they've done better this year than they usually do, but I expect they're going to be kicked out soon.
Well, they've got a tough. I think they're playing Bosnia Herzegovina, which will be a tough tie for them. But
I have absolute faith in the U.S. men's team ability to screw it up.
Well, look, to be honest, I was supporting Scotland, and they're already out. So,
Well, that means there's no party anymore because there's no Scotland, no party.
Exactly. I will say I don't think Boston knew what hit it when the Tartan Army rolled up there.
I don't know, but they probably did. I mean, Boston doesn't. Boston has a large Irish community, which is close. It's not Scottish, but it does have that. It's like
yeah.
I believe the movie Boondock Saints is set in Boston or the surrounding area.
I mean, I still couldn't believe that Italy didn't even qualify for the tournament this year, which is quite bad for them. But
well, Italy has had their own problems trying to have. I mean, the prime minister was accused of wanting to selfie with Donald Trump. Her response to that was great, though. It's like, no, Donald, this didn't happen.
Yes, Purple?
Huh?
You were trying to say something?
No, basically just what Porpoise said.
Yeah. Yeah, we always have the Great American State Fair, or Freedom 250, where you can either listen to a guy sing a Christian song, just saying Yahweh constantly, or you can go over and watch the guy masturbate.
That did happen. My favorite thing is Donald is like Fox News was like trying to lie about the crowd size.
Yeah, they got an empty field behind them. Oh, they've got all these people. Same thing with the reflecting pond. It's clear now, as you can see. It's obviously still green right behind the guys. It's clear now.
Well, the weather hasn't been cooperating for one. I'm sure that's not helping.
Still.
Two, it's like some of the hottest days in the year. And three, there was already like an America 250 celebration planned near the area that Donald Trump was trying to say name it similarly. So
Yeah.
So are you guys going for like a heat wave out there at the moment then? Because we had one last week and we're supposed to get another one next week.
Yeah, there is a heat wave going on. There's also some unusual cold in areas as well.
Yeah, I mean we I'm sorry, I'm going to have to apologise. I don't work in freedom units here. But we were in temperatures around 37, 38 degrees Celsius last week, and we're supposedly going to be getting 40 plus degrees next week. So I'm sorry, that's
about
not, sorry, that's not in freedom units. But
that's about 104 degrees in freedom units.
Yeah.
Currently, the air temperature is 92 degrees in freedom units, not communist units. Feels like temperature is 104. An extreme heat warning lasting until Thursday tomorrow, or tomorrow, Thursday night at 8 p.m. At least for where I am at.
I think we're looking at something similar up here. What's tomorrow's forecast?
With a
Well,
chance
anyway,
of-
guys, I am going to have to bow out because I need to go get some sleep in a moment. So,
Yeah, I'm kind of fading myself here, so I think I should just wrap it up.
well, it's just gone 10 o'clock at night here, so I need to go get some sleep. So,
Okay.
I shall see you all later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, now I see Porpoise yawning too, and I know Athena's probably wondering.
Athena's napping. Athena's not demanding I take a nap today, largely because she slept on me for like 3 hours this morning.
Well, do you have anything you'd like to say as we wrap up?
Great. If you want to follow me in Clapper, it's Mad Computer Scientist. YouTube, I've done some like really stupid jokes. The last one is about, even though I'm non-religious, as a computer scientist, I still believe in higher powers as long as they're powers of two. If you want to follow me there, it's The Sinister Porpoise, or at The Sinister Porpoise 1, or at Mad Computer Scientist 1 if you want more educational content. So just be excellent to each other, and so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Okay, Mage, how about you?
We definitely need to do a watch party at some point here. We've been missing those.
Yep.
And like I was saying before we started, I have a little surprise is for that.
Yeah, next 2 weekends, so I'm going to be taking trips out of town, which basically means I've got to get as much sleep Thursday night as I can for long drives. I didn't realize it was going to be 2 weekends in a row until the beginning of this week. I thought I had 1 weekend in between them.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to do Jenny's line.
Yep. Well, we weren't quite up to that, but yep. And I would like to thank the people who keep sending me a few bucks each month to keep us going here. Regios, Greg Hartwick, Junie, Chitty the Atheist, Robert X, and still getting a grant from the Lavender Lady.
Regios.
So appreciate all of you, helping me pay my internet bill. So yes, with that, I guess we will see you all here same time next week.
Be gay, do crime.
Bye-bye all.
Later.